Greetings! Manta-Ray79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days! Alrighty then, let's begin. Pressing the A button now.
Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days.
Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu, off to edit deck menu. Here we are in the edit deck menu, and now in today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be making one for is a Dragon Empires, Chakrabarthi, Phoenix Dragon, Nirvana Jheva, D-BT07. Okie dokie, let's begin. So, selecting the deck, entering edit deck, and off we go. Here we are in the edit deck menu, and like I just mentioned before, the deck I'm building in today's deck profile video is a Dragon Empires, Chakrabarthi, Phoenix Dragon, Nirvana Jheva deck, made up of cards only available up until D-BT07. And alright, let's begin. So first, let's go to the filter settings and to pack, show only cards from D-BT1, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-BT2, A Brush to the Legends, D-BT3, Advance of Intertwined Stars, D-BT4, Awakening of Chakrabarthi, D-BT5, Triumphant Return of Brave Heroes, Festival Collection 2021, Festival Collection 2022, Promo Pack number 1, D-BT6, Blazing Dragon Reborn, and D-BT7, Raging Flame against Emerald Storm. And now applying the filter, and alright, cards filtered. So let's get started. First, the deck's grade 3 lineup. And now for the deck's grade 3 lineup. For the grade 3s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, grade 3, Chakrabarthi, Phoenix Dragon, Nirvana Jheva. Skills, first skill, action as a Vanguard, once per turn. Cost, discard a card from your hand. If the cost and pay, choose up to 1 Trickstar and up to 1 Prayer Dragon unit from your drop zone and call them to rear guard. Second skill, auto as a Vanguard. When this unit attacks, cost, counterblast 1. If the cost and pay, choose one of your rear guards in the X-overDress stat and stand it. So for Jheva, it's the main grade 3 to ride this deck. Its skills, the first skill, by paying the cost, you'll be able to superior call 1 Trickstar and 1 Prayer Dragon from your drop zone to serve as in your rear guard as potential front row attackers, back row boosters, rear guards you wish to use their skills for your upcoming game strategy, or as materials to overdress or cross-overdress with. And the second skill, when your Vanguard Nirvana Jheva attacks, by paying the cost, you can restand one of your cross-overdress units for another attack, giving you more attacks to help you to either to pressure or finish off your opponent with. And affirmative, the grade 3, Chakrabarthi, Phoenix Dragon, Nirvana Jheva, we have 4 in the deck, 1 in the ride deck, 3 in the main deck. Next up, the grade 3, Blaring Cannon Equip, Bar Virena. Skills, first skill, continuous, cross-overdress, 1 Trickstar and 1 Prayer Dragon unit. You may place it by stacking it on all of these specified units instead of normal calling it to rear guard. Second skill, action as a rear guard. If this unit is in the cross-overdress state, cost, Soul Blast 2. If the cost and paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Third skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit is in the cross-overdress state, attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets plus 2000 power until end of battle for each of your opponent's open rear guard circles. Then, if your opponent has 1 or less rear guards, cost, counterblast 1. If the cost and paid, until end of battle, this unit gets drive -1, and this unit performs drive checks. So for Bar Virena, it's one of the main cross-overdress units to play in your Nirvana Jheva deck. If its skills, the second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met and you pay the cost, you can retire your opponent's rear guards, thus giving you a better advantage for your upcoming game strategy. And the third skill, as long as the conditions of the third skill are met, not only do you get to increase the power of Bar Virena for every empty rear guard circle in your opponent's field, but then if the secondary condition of the skill is met, by paying the cost, You can also make your Bauer Virina do a drive check when it attacks, giving you the chance to get triggers or to simply restock your hand for your upcoming defense and offense. And confirm the Grade 3 Flaring Cannon equipped Bauer Virina. We have 3 in the deck. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 3 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Grade 2 lineup. And now for the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, Grade 2, Snuggling Blaze Maiden Ryu. Skills, first skill, Auto. When this unit is rode upon by Chakrabarthi, Phoenix Dragon, Nirvana Jheva, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Prayer Dragon from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Second skill, Continuous as a rear guard. During your turn, if you have a Prayer Dragon unit in the same column as this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So for Ryu, she's the main Grade 2 to ride this deck. With her skills, the first skill, by riding Nirvana Jheva on top of her, you have the chance to check the top 7 cards to your deck for a Prayer Dragon to add to your hand, thus providing you a potential front row attacker, back row booster, rear guard whose skill you wish to take advantage of later in the game, or a potential cost to pay for crossover dressing later. And the second skill, as long as the 6 conditions of the second skill are met, your Ryu can then serve as a potential 15,000 point attacker for your front row, depending on what Prayer Dragon you have in the same column. And alright, the Grade 2 Snuggling Blaze Maiden Ryu. We have 1 in the Ride deck. Next up, the Grade 2 Jeweled Sword equipped Garo Virina. Skills, first skill, Continuous, X-overDress. 1 Trickstar and 1 Prayer Dragon unit. You may place it by stacking it on all of these specified units instead of calling it to rear guard. Second skill, Continuous as a rear guard. If this unit is in the X-overdress state, this unit gets plus 10,000 power, and for the battle this unit attacked, when your opponent would call cards from hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 2 or more at the same time, active on opponent's turn 2. So for Garo Virina, it's one of the main X-overdress units to play in your Nirvana Jheva deck. With its skill, the second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met, not only does Garo Virina turn into a potential 20,000 point attacker for your front row, but while attacking, if your opponent wishes to guard Garo Virina's attack with cards from their hand, they have to guard 2 or more at the same time, thus pressuring your opponent to either to be unable to guard or to make them use up more cards in their hand to make your upcoming attacks more easier to land. And the best part about Garo Virina's skill, it's active on your opponent's turn 2. As long as it's in the X-overdress state, you will have a 20,000 point Garo Virina on your front row to serve as a potential front row attacker, and a rear guard who can last longer in your field, thus giving you a good rear guard to have. And okay, the Grade 2 Jeweled Sword equipped Garo Virina. We have 3 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 2 Sturdy Wall equipped Vils Virina. Skills, first skill, Continuous, X-overdress, 1 Trickstar, and 1 Prayer Dragon. You may place it by stacking it on all of the specified units instead of calling it to rear guard. Second skill, Auto. When this unit is placed on the rear guard by X-overdress, choose a card from your drop zone of the X-overdress ability other than Sturdy Wall equipped Vils Virina and put it into your hand. Third skill, Continuous as a rear guard or guardian. If this unit is in the X-overdress state, this unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects, and it gets plus 5,000 power and 10,000 shield, active on opponent's turn 2. So for Vils Virina, it's one of the other main X-overdress units to play in your Nirvana Jheva deck. With its skills, the second skill, when X-overdress onto your rear guard, you can then search your drop zone for any X-overdress unit other than Vils Virina to return to your hand, giving you another X-overdress unit to use in your upcoming game strategy. And the third skill, as long as the conditions of the third skill are met, not only does your rear guard Vils Virina get a resist ability, protecting it from being targeted by your opponent's card effects, but it also gets plus 5,000 power and plus 10,000 shield, giving you a Vils Virina who can serve as a potential 15,000 point attacker for your front row, or a 15,000 point shield to guard your opponent's upcoming attacks. And affirmative, the Grade 2 Sturdy Wall equipped Vils Virina. We have 3 in the deck. Next up, the Great 2, Break Equipped Dragon Urbargo. Skill Auto. When this unit becomes an original dress, cost Counterblast 1. If the cost and paid, Soul Charge 1. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So for Urbargo, it's a prayer dragon to play in your Nirvana Jheva deck with its skill. When used as material for a crossover dress, by paying the cost, not only do you get to build up your soul for later Soul Blast, but you can also clear your opponent's field by retiring 1 rear guard. And confirm the Great 2 Break Equipped Dragon Urbargo. We have 3 in the deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's Great 2 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Great 1 lineup. And now for the deck's Great 1 lineup. For the Great 1s in this deck, we are playing Right Deck, Great 1, Heart Pounding Blaze Maiden, Reno. Skills, first skill, Auto. When this unit is rolled upon by Snuggling Blaze Maiden Ryu, search your deck for up to 1 Trickstar, call to rear guard, and shuffle your deck. Second skill, continuous as a rear guard. During your turn, if you have a Prayer Dragon unit in the same column as this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So for Reno, she's the main Great 1 to ride this deck. Her skills, the first skill, by riding Ryu on top of her, you can then superior call 1 Trickstar from your deck to cause the rear guard to serve as a potential front row attacker, back row booster, rear guard whose skill you wish to take advantage of later in the game, or material for overdressing or cross overdressing. And the second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met, you can then turn your Reno into a potential 13,000 point attacker for your front row or 13,000 point booster for your back row. And alrighty, the Great 1, Heart Pounding Blaze Maiden Reno. We have 1 in the right deck. Next up, the Great 1, Flash Equipped Dragon Brahmada. Skill Auto. When this unit becomes an original dress, cost Counterblast 1. If the cost and paid, draw 2 cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So for Brahmada, it's one of the other prayer dragons to play in your Nirvana Jheva deck with its skill. When being used as material for cross overdressing, by paying the cost, you can draw more cards to restock your hand with. And okie dokie, the Great 1, Flash Equipped Dragon Brahmada. We have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Great 1, Sparkle Rejector Dragon. Sentinel, Perfect Guard. Skills, first skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards of Continuous Sentinel in a deck. Second skill, Auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So for Sparkle Rejector, it's a perfect guard for the Dragon Empire Nation. Like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When used to guard with and discarding 1 card from hand, you can block an enemy attack. But it also features an ability unique to all perfect guards in the D standard format, which is, when used to guard with while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, making Sparkle Rejector Dragon a potential no-cost perfect guard in desperate last resort situations. And affirmative, the Great 1, Sparkle Rejector Dragon. We have 3 in the deck. Next up, the Great 1, Blitz Order, Elementaria Sanctitude. Skills, first skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards of Continuous Sentinel in a deck. Second skill, Continuous. You may only have 1 Elementaria Sanctitude in a deck. Third skill, Order. If your opponent's Vanguard has triple drive, this ability can be played without paying the cost. Plays with a cost of, discard a card from your hand if your Vanguard is grade 3 or less. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. Remove this card. So for Elementaria Sanctitude, it's the Blitz Order version of the Perfect Guard. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it is the same skill and activation, which is, when activated, you can discard 1 card from your hand to block an enemy attack. But ideally, Elementaria Sanctitude is best used against opponents who play decks that specialize in having a Vanguard of triple drive, For example, Grade 4s, G units, or Vanguards who have their drive checks increased by skill or card effect. Against such opponents, Elementaris Sanctitude then can serve as a potential no-cost perfect guard. And confirm the Grade 1 Elementaris Sanctitude. We have 1 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 1 Crushing Equipped Dragon Kacha Guard. Skill Auto. When this card becomes an original dress, if your soul has no cards, soul charge 2. So for Kacha Guard, it's another prayer dragon to play in your Nirvana Jheva deck. If it's skill, when used as material for cross overdressing, if the conditions to the skill are met, you can build up your soul for later soul blasts. And alright, the Grade 1 Crushing Equipped Dragon Kacha Guard. We have 3 in the deck. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 1 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Grade 0 lineup. And now, for the Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck Grade 0, Surprise Egg. Skill Auto. When this unit is rolled upon, if you went second, draw 1 card. So for Surprise Egg, it's the starting unit of this deck. Like any other starting unit in the D standard format, it features the same skill and activation. When written on top of, if you're the second to go in the game, draw 1 card. And alrighty, the Grade 0 Surprise Egg, we have 1 in the Ride deck. Next up, the Grade 0 Trickstar. Skill continuous as a rear guard. This unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects. So for Trickstar, it's one of the main Grade 0s to play in your Nirvana and Nirvana Jheva decks. With its skill, it serves as a potential pseudo resistibility, protecting your rear guard Trickstar from being targeted by your opponent's card effects. Thus, Trickstar cannot be retired, bound, locked, returned to hand and deck, or any other effects that target your rear guards, preserving your Trickstar to serve for your upcoming game strategies with. And alright, the Grade 0 Trickstar, we have 4 in the deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 0 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's trigger lineup. And now for the trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we are playing the Grade 0 Dragon DD King of Resurgence Dragvita Overtrigger. Skill, trigger, additional effect. Choose one of your Vanguards and stand it. So for Dragvita, it's the overtrigger for the Dragon Empire Nation. Like any other overtrigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When revealed during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw 1 card. But it also features an ability unique to it alone, which is, when revealed during a drive check on your turn, you can restand your Vanguard for another attack. And affirmative, the Grade 0 Dragon DD King of Resurgence Dragvita Overtrigger, we have 1 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 0 Burning Flail Dragon Critical Trigger. Skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units, and it gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Burning Flail, it's a powerful critical trigger to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks with its skill. After boosting an attack, regardless if the attack hits or not, as long as you don't mind moving Burning Flail from your rear guard to your soul, not only do you get to build up your soul for later soul blast, but you can also give a remaining attacker in your field, Vanguard or rear guard, a little extra power to work with. And alrighty, the Grade 0 Burning Flail Dragon Critical Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 0 Blaze Maiden Zone Critical Trigger, we have 3 in the deck. And next, the Grade 0 Flare Veil Dragon Draw Trigger. Skill continuous as a Guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Flare Veil, a powerful draw trigger to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks with its skill. When used to guard with, as long as the conditions of the skill are met, you can turn your Flare Veil Dragon into a potential 10,000 point shield all on its own. So, okie dokie, the Grade 0 Flare Veil Dragon Draw Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. And next, the Grade 0 Stealthy Amavira, heal trigger. Skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, if your opponent's attacking unit has attacked 2 or more times this turn, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. Active if this battle is its second attack this turn or more. So for Amavira, a powerful heal trigger to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks of its skill. When used to guard with, while the conditions of its skill are met, Amavira then can serve as a potential 25,000 point shield on its own. Ideally, Amavira is a counter heal, best used against opponents who play decks that specialize in restanding, attacking multiple times their units, Vanguard or Rearguard. And affirmative, the Great Zero, Stealthy Amavira, heal trigger. We have 2 in a deck. And next, the Great Zero, Cure Flare Draco Kid, heal trigger. Skill, auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, if the attacking unit's critical is 2 or greater, and the critical is increased by a non-trigger effect ability, or its original critical is 2 or greater, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. So for Cure Flare Draco Kid, another powerful heal trigger to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks of its skill. When used to guard with, while the conditions of its skill are met, you can then turn your Cure Flare Draco Kit into a potential 25,000 point shield on its own. Ideally, Cure Flare is a counter heal, best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in increasing their attack unit's critical, Vanguard or Rearguard by skill or card effect. And confirm, the Great Zero, Cure Flare Draco Kid, heal trigger. We have 2 in the deck. And with that, the deck has been built. Card effects explained. For the cards in this deck, we are playing 4 Grade 3 Chakrabarthi Phoenix Dragon Nirvana Jheva. 3 Grade 3 Flaring Cannon Equipped Bauer Virena. 3 Grade 2 Jeweled Sword Equipped Garo Virena. 3 Grade 2 Sturdy Wall Equipped Vils Virena. 1 Grade 2 Snuggling Blaze Maiden Rayu. 3 Grade 2 Break Equipped Dragon Urbargo. 4 Grade 1 Flash Equipped Dragon Ramada. 3 Grade 1 Sparkle Rejector Dragon. 1 Grade 1 Elementaria Sanctitude. 1 Grade 1 Heart Pounding Blaze Maiden Reno. 3 Grade 1 Crushing Equipped Dragon Katya Guard. 4 Grade 0 Trickstar. And 1 Grade 0 Surprise Egg starting unit. And for the triggers in this deck, we are playing 1 Drag Vita over trigger. 7 critical triggers. 4 draw triggers. And 4 heal triggers. Alright, deck's been built, card effects explained. Now let's get on to testing out the deck. And here we are back in the main menu, so off to fight menu. To CPU fight. Selecting the deck I just more or less showcased and displayed, the Dragon Empires, Chakrabarthi, Phoenix Dragon, Nirvana Jheva, D-BT07 deck. Selecting deck. Choosing an opponent. Alright, I'm gonna test this deck out on Zakuza Ishigame, normal difficulty, and click. And the battle begins. Let's get started. And here we are in the fight. We're gonna decide who goes first, so rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Rock to scissors, I win going first. Drawing our starting hands, I got myself a Vils Virena, critical trigger, Elementaria Sanctitude, a Katya Guard, and a Bauer Virena. Not a bad starting hand. Holding on to all normal units and order cards, returning the triggers, redraw. Yes, Ramada, great redraw. Now let's start. My turn, draw. I ride from the right deck, Heart Pounding Blaze Maiden Reno. For the right deck cost, I'm discarding Katya Guard. Discard and ride Reno. That should be enough. End of my turn. Now it's my opponent's turn. My opponent rides the Grade 1 Rutis. Skill of his starting unit, he draws a card. Skill of the discarded Tectien, he searches for a set order. Nothing happens. Vanguard skill, searching deck for Overcoming in Eternity and adding to hand. He's calling Kagula and Ryoza. Oh man, he's already going to go full attack on me. He reveals Overcoming Eternity, adding to hand, and rear guard to Vanguard. Okay, this is gonna be a tough choice. I think I'm gonna... Okay, should I guard or not guard? I think I'm just gonna let the first attack go through, see how it goes. No guard. Ow! Damage check. Yes! Critical trigger! Lucky me! I give all effects to my Vanguard. Critical added and power added. That was a close one. Vanguard to Vanguard, 8k to my 18k, 1 trigger to pass. I'm gonna risk it. No guard. Drive check. Yes, no trigger. The attack does not go through, so... Ka-chink, safe. End of my opponent's turn, my turn. Stand and draw. I ride from the right deck, snuggling Blaze Maiden Ryu. For the right deck cost, I'm discarding Flaring Cannon equipped Bower Virina. Discard and ride Ryu. Skill of Reno, search my deck for a Trickstar and Superior Call. 1 Trickstar. Call to the rear guard. Next, I call to the rear guard Flash equipped Dragon Brahmada. Calling over here. And now, let's do this! X-overDress to Vils Virina. Trickstar and Brahmada. Get dressed to Vils Virina. Skill of Vils Virina. I search for a X-overDress unit in my drop zone, add it to hand. Adding Bower Virina back to my hand. Next up, here comes Brahmada's skill. Counter Blast 1, Counter Blast, and draw 2 cards. Draw! Another Bower Virina and Urbargo? Discard 1 Bower Virina. Then I call to the rear guard Urbargo. Call. My field is set. Now on to battle phase. First, Urbargo attacks the rear guard Kagula, 10k to 8k. The attack goes through. And boom! 1 less rear guard to worry about. Now my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 10k to 8k. The attack goes through. Drive check. No trigger. Another Vils Virina. Not a bad draw. Boom! 1 damage. Damage check. Critical trigger. Lucky. He gives all effects to his Vanguard. Now Vils Virina cannot attack the Vanguard. Just settle for attacking the rear guard. Attack Ryoza. 15k to 8k. The attack goes through. And slash. 1 less rear guard to worry about. End of my turn, my opponent's turn. My opponent rides the Grade 2 Kubizia. Activating the set order, Eclipse Moonlight, he deploys it to the order zone. Dark Knight active. Skill of his order card, Superior Call a Shadow Army token to the back row. Skill of Vanguard, plus 5,000 power. And he calls the rear guard Die. 15k and 25k, not counting triggers. I only have 1 heal trigger to guard with, 1 intercept, so I have no other Trickstars in my drop zone or field. So I think I'm gonna let the attack go through. Let's see how it goes. No guard. Drive check. Critical trigger, so lucky. Critical to Vanguard and power to rear guard. This is gonna be rough. So 2 damage, here it comes. Ow. Damage check first. No trigger. Second check, come on. Yes, heal trigger. Yeah, I can heal. I heal 1 and give power to the Vanguard. Phew, that was a close one. Here it comes. Die boosted by Shadow Army token, 35k. I need 20k to guard, so I'm going to a special intercept with Vils Virina and guard with Amavira. Guard and intercept. That's 45k. Attack blocked. And ka-chink, safe. End of my opponent's turn, my turn. Stand and draw. Another Vils Virina. Okie dokie. I ride from the right deck Nirvana Jheva. For the right deck cost, discarding Bauer Virina. And ride Jheva. Skill of Ryu. Search the top cards of my deck for a Prayer Dragon. Any Prayer Dragons? Ah, no. No Prayer Dragons. So unlucky. Skill wasted. Fine, I'm activating my Jheva skill, discarding a card from hand, discarding an extra copy of Vils Virina to Superior Call a Prayer Dragon and Trickstar from the drop zone. Trickstar and Brahmada. Superior Call. 1 and 2. Now I'm gonna cross overdress. Trickstar, Brahmada, get dressed to Vils Virina. Skill of Vils Virina. Adding Bauer Virina from drop back to hand. Now Brahmada skill. Counterblast 1, Counterblast, and draw 2 cards. Draw. Yes, a Persona Ride and a Catcha Guard. Discarding the extra copy of Bauer Virina, and I'm calling to the rear guard, Katya Guard. Over here. That ought to be enough, so heading to the battle phase. First, my embargo attacks the rear guard die. 10k to 10k. The attack goes through, and boom! One less rear guard to worry about. Now, Vils Virina, unboosted, attacks the Vanguard, 15k. The attack goes through, and slash! Damage check first. No trigger, alright. Now here comes my Vanguard to Vanguard, 13k. Skill of Jheva. Counterblast 1, Counterblast, and restand Vils Virina. The attack goes through, Twin Drive, first check. Heal trigger, nice. Can I heal? Yes, I can heal. Healing embargo. Giving power to Vils Virina. Looking good. Second check. Another heal trigger. I'll just give all the power to my Vils Virina again. Cannot heal. Boom! Damage check. Ah, heal trigger. Lucky him. He can heal as well. It's fine. I got all those power-ups for my Vils Virina, so boosted by Katya Guard, Vils Virina attacks the Vanguard, 43k. The attack goes through. Slash. Damage check. Oh, come on. Draw trigger. It's a really good draw for him. So that's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. My opponent rides the grade 3, Cardinal Dominus Orphis Regis. Skill of his Vanguard, setting the set order, overcoming the eternity. Abyssal Dark Knight active. He deploys another set order, overcoming the eternity. Deploy the order zone and call into the rear guards. 2 Plasthesia. And revealing Eclipse Moonlight, adding to hand thanks to Ryozia's skill, so 21k to Vanguard. Should I block it? The Vanguard skill, he can call at least 1 Shadow Army token. His back row, His back row has no more skills to make use of, and his front rows, he can only use it for this column, so I think I'm safe. I'm just gonna block the first attack, let the Vanguard or remaining rear guard go through. I guard with the heal trigger, Amavira, guard, 23k, attack blocked, and ka-chink, safe. Here comes the rear guard again. That's 28k, not enough to block it, let it go through. Here comes the attack, out, damage check. Yes, critical trigger, lucky me. I give all effects to my Vanguard. Power up and critical up. Skill of his rear guard. Paltestia, he can draw a card. And Vanguard, skill of Regis. He's paying the cost 2, Superior Call, a Shadow Army token. Skill of overcoming his Vanguard gets power first, and overcoming an Eternity skill. Nope, Tech TN skill, search for a set order, nothing happens. Now overcoming the eternity. Its skill gives power to Shadow Army token. He activates it twice, gets a total of 25k from that side. Either way, the Vanguard or Rear Guard will have a lot of power to attack me with. I have a heal trigger and intercept to work with, so I'm just gonna let the Vanguard go through. No guard, we'll see how it goes. Try check first. Ah, critical trigger, come on! Crit the Van and power the Rear Guard. Nope, he's giving me the ult to Vanguard. The attack goes through. Second check. Ah, double critical, come on! How can he get so lucky? So that's 3 damage to me. Here it comes. Ow! Damage check first. No trigger. Second check. Critical trigger. I give all effects to the Vanguard. Critical up and power up. Third check. Yes, a draw trigger. I draw 1 card. Draw. And give power to Vils Virina. The Vanguard attacks, so I intercept with Vils Virina, intercept, and that's 48k, attack blocked. Ka-chink, safe. End of my opponent's turn, my turn, stand and draw. I Persona Ride, Nirvana Jheva. Here we go. Persona Ride. Chakrabarthi Phoenix Dragon Nirvana Jheva. Draw card. Power up. Next, I'm going to activate Jheva's skill. Discarding 1 card. I discard. Discarding the draw trigger Flare Veil. Discard and Superior call 1 Prayer Dragon and 1 Trickstar. Calling Trickstar and Embargo? Should I call Embargo or... Yep, I'm gonna call Trickstar and Embargo. 1 and 2, call! Now I'm gonna X-overDress, Trickstar, and the back row Embargo. Get dressed, Trickstar! Baur Virina! Skill of Embargo. Counterblast 1. Counterblast, retire 1 rear guard and Soul Charge. Soul Charge Trickstar, and retiring from the rear guard a... Retiring... What should I retire? Retiring Rayozia. Next, activating Baur Virina skill. Soul Blast 2. Soul Blast. Retiring 1 rear guard. Retiring Plasthesia. 1 more time. Soul Blast 2. Soul Blast. Retiring 1 more rear guard. I retire the back row Shadow Army token. Looking good there. And I think we're good, so I call Brahmada to the back row. And that should be enough. On to battle phase. First, Baur Virina attacks the Vanguard. Baur Virina skill, plus 2,000 power for every empty rearguard circle. Total 31k, and should I activate the skill? Yep, I'm activating Baur Virina skill, Counterblast, adding 1 drive. Drive check. Trickstar. 1 damage. Boom! Damage check. No trigger, safe. Persona Ride out of the deck. 1 less card to worry about. Vanguard to Vanguard, 23k. Nirvana Jheva skill, Counter Blast. Restand, Baur Virina. He double guards for 33k, 38k, 2 to pass. Twin Drive, first check. Another Persona Ride, lucky. Second check. Yes, draw trigger. I draw a card. I drew my over trigger out of the deck, so unlucky. Alright, I'm gonna give the power to Embargo. Power up. The attack fails, but now, here we go. Boosted by Katya Guard. My Baur Virina attacks the Vanguard. 31k. X-overDress skill activated. 2,000 power for every empty rearguard circle. That's 39k. And Counter Blast. 1 drive. Keep perfect guards. perfect guard activated. He discards a order card. The attack blocked. Drive check. Brahmada, Prayer Dragon. The attack fails. Now for the final attack of my turn, boosted by Brahmada. Embargo attacks the Vanguard, 38k. The attack goes through. And boom! Damage check. No trigger, perfect guard. Nice, one less card to worry about. End of my turn, my opponent's turn. Persona Ride, he had one. He Persona Rides, draws and powers up. Skill of Vanguard, deploying another order. Skill of his order card, Superior Call Shadow Army. Skill of Overcoming the Eternity, powers up the Shadow Army. Activating the same effect again. Man, it's a lot of power. Will I be able to survive this turn? Straight to battle phase, Shadow Army to Vanguard, 50k. Whoa, that's a lot. I perfect guard with Elementaria Sanctitude, discarding for the cost a draw trigger. Discard. Perfect guard activated. And safe. Ka-chink. Now Vanguard to Vanguard, 23k. Register skill. Superior calls up to 2 Shadow Armies. Oh man, this is getting rough. So, activating his order card, he keeps stacking the power. Will I be able to survive this turn? Not sure yet. He keeps stacking power. I guard with. My overtrigger, guard, overtrigger to pass. Twin drive, first check. No trigger, order card, second check. Come on, nothing. No trigger, safe. And ka-chink. Rear guard to Vanguard, 35k. Do I have enough? Just barely. Alright. I guard with cards from my hand and intercept. That's a total of 38k. Attack blocked. And ka-chink. I can survive this turn. The final attack from Shadow Army token. I guard with Sparkle Rejector Dragon. No cost perfect guard. Skill activate and attack blocked. That was a close one. Ka-chink. End of my opponent's turn, my turn. Stand and draw. I Persona Ride Nirvana Jheva. Let's do this. Chakrabarthi Phoenix Dragon, Nirvana Jheva. Persona Ride. Draw. Yes, Garo Virina. Now, I activate my Nirvana Jheva skill. Discard 1 card. And Superior Call a Prayer Dragon and a Trickstar, calling 1 Trickstar and 1 Katya Guard. Superior Call. Oh, over here and here. Call. Now it's time to cross overdress. Trickstar and Katya Guard in the center column. Get dressed. Garo Virina. Power up. That should be enough. And now, let's get on to the battle phase. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 23k. He double guards for 43k. 2 to pass, first check. No trigger, perfect guard. Second check. No trigger, Persona Ride. The attack fails. But my opponent only has 2 cards left in hand, and they're both order cards, if I recall, so the attack should still go through. And now, boosted by Katya Guard. Bauer Virina attacks the Vanguard, 31k. And cross overdress skill activated. 2,000 power for every empty rearguard circle. That's 35k to the Vanguard. The attack goes through. And boom! Damage check. No trigger, safe. 6 damage, I win. That was a pretty close fight, but I got to use the new Carson's deck pretty well and make the deck work for me, so I got win, double trigger, attack 40,000 more power, guard of 60,000 more shield, perfect guarded, opponent double criticaled, did a Persona Ride, 8 turns passed, did a Superior Call, retired 5 or more opposing units, and drew 3 or more times in 1 turn. I got 2950 VP, Total 198,975 BP. Pressing A to go next, leaving fight and returning to main menu. To fight menu. Here we are in the fight menu, leaving fight menu, and off to the main menu, in the main menu to edit deck menu. And with that, the deck's been built, Cardfight explained, and I just finished testing the deck out in front of you. So first I want to say is, thank you to the viewers for watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you'll show support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that I say, goodbye and see you all soon!